Run, river, run, run through the hills. Run, river, run to the sea. Run, river, run to your place beneath the sun. Run, river, run over me.
Hi, this is Jan Lewis. Welcome to be my guest today. We have Paula Wright with us, and she is an attendee and an ambassador for the Rhodes Scholar Program. If you're into travel, you're going to love to hear from her. I don't know how she does it. First of all, I don't think I would dare travel alone all over the world. I'd get lonely. Welcome, Paula. How long have you been doing this?
Thank you. I've been traveling with Rhodes Scholar since 2004.
Yeah.
And the last few years I've amped it up due to COVID and missing a couple years.
Yeah. I mean, in 2004, you went to your first Rhodes Scholar. Was it meeting or the first trip?
Well, it was a program at Horizons out in Williamsburg, Mass.
Yeah.
It was an art program. And that was my first time. The second time was actually a dinosaur dig out in Utah.
You went on a dinosaur dig?
Yes.
Was your husband with you for that?
He was.
Yeah. Did you fly or take a cruise?
Oh, no, we flew because it was St. George, Utah. There's, other than Salt Lake, there's not much water there.
Oh, I was just talking with Paula before we started. I've been reading the true book by one of the people who was, let's say, a prisoner on the Zandam cruise ship during COVID. And everybody was locked in their, hamster cabin? And it was horrible. I'm almost through with it, but boy, I'm telling you, that had to be. They even had to try to get supplies okay to bring up in another ship to get to them.
Oh, I'm sure.
They had a medical department there, and a lot of people were not making it either. So now in 2004, who's thought up the name Rhodes Scholar?
Well, it used to be Elder Hostel.
Oh.
But as time went on, it started as hostels by a couple guys from the University of New Hampshire in 1974 or 75. And they had gone to Europe and seen that older folks stayed at hostels as well. So they came back and they started Elder Hostel. And then I think it was about 2008 or 9, it changed briefly to Explore, and then it immediately went to Rhodes Scholar.
But this is what she handed me. It looks like the one of those atlases, the map atlas books. That you can get. My father, I think, used to have them. This is pretty cool. It says postcards from the road and the water, all over the. These are upcoming trips.
Oh, those are just a few of the upcoming trips.
Have you been to Scotland?
I have been to Scotland. I've been to 90 countries now.
90 countries?
Yeah.
You never get tired of it?
No.
Every month you go, or every...
No, but it depends. Like this year, I did 8 trips. And other years, I've done 5. This year was exceptional, given we'd just gotten through COVID. So I was making up for lost time. But I've been everywhere from the Antarctic up to the Arctic and around the globe.
And you don't feel shut in or trapped on a cruise ship?
Well, I never go on big cruise ships.
What do you do then? You fly to get there?
I fly to get there, and then, for instance, in the Antarctic and the Arctic, it was a small ship, maybe 120 passengers.
Yeah.
And in Croatia, it was an even smaller ship with maybe 12 cabins.
Wow.
So
I think my aunt went on the QE2.
Mm-hmm.
That was years ago. I was surprised because I didn't figure her to be in a cruise ship, so she went alone. I don't know how she did it. She has brought some beautiful pictures. Show us what you've taken in your travels.
Well, I'll show a few of them anyway. This is from Antarctica. These are a few of the penguins that we saw.
How far did you get up? Did you have to do it at a distance?
Well, yes and no. You didn't touch them, but they would walk over your feet.
Oh, I love penguins.
And there were probably a few 100,000 penguins here.
Yeah.
And so it was very loud and very smelly, but it was wonderful. To be standing in the middle of all that wildlife was just amazing.
Wait, did you see any ladies sitting on their eggs?
No, unfortunately. The hatchlings had already gotten almost as big as the moms, and they were just losing their fur and getting the color you see.
That's an awesome picture.
And,
Oh.
and then this was Africa.
Is that what I think that is?
Elephants.
Yeah, but are they playing? Are those two baby elephants?
Oh, they are playing.
Okay, I thought that was a daddy elephant and a mommy elephant.
Oh,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
no.
Okay, it's a family show.
Those are baby elephants. The parents are behind them.
Okay, all three babies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Actually, the last time I went, which was this past May,
Yeah.
there were probably, oh gosh, I saw hundreds and hundreds of elephants. It was just wonderful. And elephants, I call them my spirit animal, but I
Yeah.
love elephants.
Were they in Africa?
Yes.
They are very revered in India.
Yeah. They're different in India, though. They're very different. They have the shorter ears. They only have one lip, not two on the trunk. So the African elephants can actually use their trunks. And most people don't realize it, but elephants have tens of thousands of muscles in their trunks.
They do.
They do. And so that's why the baby elephants, the trunks just kind of go back and forth and all over the place because they haven't learned to control them yet.
I never knew. That's amazing.
That's why I love to travel with Rhodes Scholar,
Yeah.
because we learn all these things. It is education. It's a not-for-profit based education travel for folks 50 and over.
Okay, so it's for people 50 and over. How expensive is this?
I find it a lot less expensive than many other companies because everything is included, including tips. You're not even worried about tipping. And the food is included. Every place you attend is included. Sometimes the flights are, sometimes you're paying for the flights. But it's really quite affordable, I find.
Really?
For instance, I looked at National Geographic versus Rhodes Scholar.
Yeah.
And National Geographic was anywhere from 2 to 2.5 times more expensive for a trip.
Yeah, are they kind of playing on the name National Geographic, like the magazine?
Oh, yeah. But they're also a for-profit
Yeah.
organization,
Oh, yeah.
whereas Rhodes Scholar is not.
Rhodes Scholar isn't for profit. One time, you know how families sometimes they keep all these issues of National Geographic? I guess one of the times they were moving, my mother didn't understand, and she threw out the National Geographic. So my father said, "You did what?" I understand. To me, I'd be like, I would have donated them, but I don't think they had time to donate them. Yeah. Okay, keep going. Show us some more.
Okay. This is a red-eyed tree frog.
The gecko.
No, red-eyed tree frog in Costa Rica. I took this one, and that's on a blade of grass. So
What is
it
that around his neck?
gives you an idea of how big they are.
Yeah.
They're tiny, but they're gorgeous.
But what is that, a worm around his neck?
No, that's his coloring. That's all his natural coloring.
But it looks almost like a scarf or a tubing around his neck.
No, natural coloring. They're amazing. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
They come out primarily at night, but I was lucky enough to catch one during the day.
Yeah. Did you have to get real up close? They're about what, this size? No?
Oh, no.
How did you find, somebody showed it to you? You said,
Oh, yeah, but I've seen smaller ones in Africa, about, a little over half an inch.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Now,
Puffin?
puffins.
There's a restaurant, in Millbury called Puffins.
Really?
Give them a plug. Yeah.
Yeah, these are up in the Faroe Islands, up in the Arctic. And I happened to see these guys, and I thought they were just beautiful.
Yeah.
And then, I'm sure you know what this is. It's a hummingbird.
What's its end? What's its head and what's its end?
That's its head. It's looking down.
With the snap.
Yeah, and this was in Costa Rica. Costa Rica is just loaded with hummingbirds. I even saw some in a nest. It was wonderful.
Isn't the art there in Costa Rica very brilliant?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
lizard. I like lizards.
In most, that's bigger than a lizard. That's probably about, 4 feet long.
A Gila monster?
No, I'm not absolutely sure, but this was in the Galapagos.
Was he friendly?
Yeah, pretty friendly, and you can see they kind of blend with the background.
You're a good photographer.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I enjoy. My last trip to Africa, I took 30,000 photos. Well, I was shooting in burst mode.
Oh my gosh.
Because when you're shooting animals,
Yeah.
it's a lot easier to catch them if you're shooting in burst mode.
What's it called?
Burst. It shoots like 12 shots in a second.
Of the same thing, and you can pick out the one you like the best?
Uh-huh.
What kind of camera do you use?
I tend to use a bridge camera so that I don't have to carry a lot of lenses. It will expand to, well, the one I've got will go to 1000x, which is...
Is that the kind that goes like this? I've seen a kind of a big...
Well, no, I like it because it's easy to carry,
Yeah.
it's light, it's maybe 1.5 pounds, and it'll shoot for anywhere from macro, close up, to way far away. I mean, I can shoot probably close to 1 mile on some of those photos.
That's amazing.
And yet it's very light and easy to carry.
When did you learn how to do such great photography?
Practice.
Did you know you were going to be doing something like this when you left college or when you started?
Oh gosh, no. I was an engineer.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to several because I kept moving, but I ended up graduating from Central Connecticut University.
Yeah. In engineering.
Yeah.
Then from there, what did you do?
Well, I went to work in aerospace. I worked at Pratt Whitney and Ham Standard and then GE aircraft engines. And I was an engineering manager when I retired.
One of my college roommates' father worked for, it's in Long Island.
Grumman.
Are they still there?
I'm not sure.
Did you work for them too?
No. No.
I remember her father.
And then I also worked on GE corporate staff and traveled around the world training our managers.
No wonder you love travel. Did it kind of dawn on you then, like, this is what I want to do when I turn 50?
Yeah.
Now, your husband went along with you to so many of these,
Well,
right?
initially we went by ourselves.
Yeah.
And we would go all kinds of places. And we wouldn't make any plans. We'd rent a car. Then we'd go,
Yeah.
which way is the wind blowing? And that's where we'd go. But when he passed away, I decided I wasn't going to stop traveling because he asked me not to. And so I found Rhodes Scholar. Of course, I started with them before he passed away. And I've just loved it. Probably 30 to 40% of the people that travel with Rhodes Scholar are traveling alone.
Really?
And especially you see a lot of women because they feel more comfortable.
I guess. That's interesting.
So,
how can they reach you and Rhodes Scholar?
well, Rhodes Scholar sends out catalogs, which you can get by www.rhodesscholar.org. And if you go onto the internet, they're very easy to find.
And they're probably the best bet financially, you think?
I think so.
Look at this. Now, do you have to be a member to get this beautiful?
Well, you give them your name and address and information. And by the way, they do not share that information with anyone else.
No.
So you don't need to worry about that information getting sent out to the world. And then they will start sending you emails, and occasionally they'll start sending catalogs. They used to send a lot more catalogs, but during COVID, they had to cut back on some things.
Does this come in the mail for you free, too?
Oh, yes.
They have tons of trips in here.
Absolutely. They've got trips. They've got trips for small groups. For instance, when I went to Africa, I've been in a group of 7 people,
Yeah.
8 people. I've been in larger groups, maybe 12 to 20. And it all depends where you're going on the size of the group.
Yeah.
But they also have, and they'll probably list it in that catalog, you can go for arts programs.
Arts.
You can go for, if you like cooking, for instance, if you want to go to Sicily in the winter, or you can take languages. You can stay in France for a month or Spain for a month to learn the language. They have programs geared to about anything you can think of. If you like hiking,
Yeah.
I mean, they even had I believe it was last year, you could go up to the top of Kilimanjaro with Rhodes Scholar.
Did you ever do it?
No. I'm not in condition to do that.
Okay.
But a few people have.
Yeah.
And really enjoyed it.
So, mainly you would say, mainly it's single or widowed ladies, right?
Yeah.
The men come along too once in a while, right?
Oh, there's a lot of couples that come as well. But sometimes it's single men, not often, but sometimes. And it's probably, I'd say 50% couples, sometimes 60, but usually at least 30% single women. Or sometimes the women will come without their husbands because the husbands tend to not want to travel.
That's amazing to me. Because usually, I mean, in my family, my father was basically world traveled, and Mom finally stopped going, not because she didn't like it, but she couldn't keep up with him. He could be on, what's that Trans-Asian Railroad? It's a gloomy thing. You could sleep on it. What is that thing?
Oh, I can't think of it right now.
He
Yeah.
could live in a candy bar all day. She couldn't. Most of us couldn't. I know when he took us to the expo in Montreal when I was a little kid, he could stand out in the damn heat waiting at the different expositions. We finally said, Mom, take us back to the hotel. We're going to stay by the motel, the pool. Not only was the crowd overwhelming, but the heat was terrible. He was fine. I don't know how he did it, but Mom was smart. She said, you go ahead.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people go for special occasions, too.
Yeah.
I just happened to be there this year for my birthday.
When's your birthday? What month?
May
May what?
25th.
Okay.
And I was surprised as could be because the Maasai tribe threw me a birthday party. I'm sure my guide had set it up.
Yeah.
But on my birthday, they were dancing and singing, and they kept going around, and it didn't even dawn on me
Yeah.
that it was for me. And then all of a sudden they stopped, and they had a huge birthday cake, and on the cake it said, "Happy birthday, Paula, in the wild." And they were singing happy birthday, and then how old are you now? And cut the cake.
Wow.
I was in tears.
Yeah.
I was so surprised.
Ken, you said that you can learn languages on different trips.
Mm-hmm.
Can you speak anything in particular?
I'm really terrible at languages. I can speak a little Spanish, enough to keep myself out of trouble.
Yeah.
In other words, not walk in the men's room instead of the ladies' room.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm terrible at languages.
You didn't have to, when you were in high school, you didn't take college prep and have to take a language?
Oh, I did. I had to take Spanish.
We had a choice. Yeah.
Oh, I did too.
Yeah, Spanish or French. Well, Spanish, nah. I'll take French. That's the harder of the two. But that's about 4 years of it. I can get around. I can do, not Canuck, not Canadian, but the Parisian version. I can speak that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a very strict teacher, and boy, we even had pen pals in France. So she would write to me and try in English, and I would try in French.
Oh.
In Drôme, France. It was you look forward to seeing those par avion, by airmail, coming in the mail. And I was just a kid, but it was good for us to learn how to use our language.
Oh, sure.
How do you become a guide in Rhodes Scholar?
Well, Rhodes Scholar only hires almost only hires locals for guides, trained guides.
Yeah.
And they get some of the best guides in the world, frankly. I was on Easter Island,
Oh, yeah.
and we had the former governor of Easter Island was our guide. And he had worked with Thor Heyerdahl
Yeah.
to just find out how the statues, the moai,
Yeah.
were taken down the hill from where they were carved.
But what did they represent, those statues?
They're still not absolutely sure, but they represented loved ones in a lot of cases.
Yeah, they're pretty tall, aren't they?
They're very tall. And a lot of it is underground.
Why? To make sure they'd stay put?
Oh yeah, they're huge. They're probably 15, 20 feet tall at least. And some of them have hats on them, and they're made out of volcanic material.
Wow. Now, weird question maybe, but if somebody isn't feeling well on a trip, Do they know how to help you, how to get medical help?
They do. They do. While you're on the trip, insurance is provided. And so they will get you to a facility that you need to be at. I was talking to one woman on a trip, and she had broken a bone on 3 different trips. And she always managed to either get evacuated or end up in a good medical facility. They're very good about that.
But if you're there, does your group go on ahead of you?
They sometimes do, yes.
So then how do you get back home again?
Well, they'll
fix it for you.
They will get you home, or sometimes if you get better, they will find a way to get you up with the group.
That's awesome, to get you to reunite you with the group.
We had a woman in Bhutan that got unbelievably motion sick. I mean,
that sounds like me.
Really sick.
Ooh.
And so they got her a cab to take her the rest of the way while we were on a van.
You were in a van. Oh, was she in the back? They should have put her in the front.
Well, she didn't realize it at the time.
Did she get sick?
Oh, did she ever? Yeah.
I can relate.
Yeah.
As a child, I was like that.
Things happen when you're traveling.
Yeah.
And if you know what your issues are, they can be accommodated.
How'd she take it? Did she go back home or she stuck with it?
Oh, no, she stuck with it.
They had her in the wrong end of that van. I know, because my parents finally got the hint that I needed to be up front. Then it was fine.
Yeah, well, they put her up front, but it was after she realized what was happening.
Have you ever taken, well, this would be little to you, but to take the boat from Hyannis to Nantucket or Martha's Vineyard? I did. You know the ferry?
Oh, yeah.
To Cape Cod. Ooh.
Well, as I said, I was in a Category 5 storm on the Drake Passage, the most dangerous water on Earth.
Yeah.
And we were all over the place.
Were you in a vehicle or boat?
On a boat. And and they had to put up the metal shutters on the windows.
Yeah.
Best trip I ever had. I loved it.
You don't get sick?
No. Well, I take ginger candy with me.
Did you offer that to the gal behind you in the van that time?
Well, no, I didn't have any ginger candy with me that time.
So ginger candy helps?
Yeah.
I didn't know there was such a thing. Where do you get that?
Amazon.
How about a natural food store?
A natural food store would probably have it. Whole Foods would probably have it.
Okay. Is it like ginger ale?
Trader Joe's. It's a candy that is partially dried and it has sugar on it. It's slices of ginger.
And it helps.
Helps significantly. That, or if you get the acupressure bands, those help
too. We were talking with Paula Wright, and boy, what a professional with her. She's in the Rhodes Scholar program, open to people 55 years?
50.
50 years, okay, 50 and over. She's been an attendee and an ambassador there. Well, we started in 2004, so it's been how many years? Quick, what's your math here? I
haven't even thought about it.
It's been a lot of years. We'll say that. It's been a lot.
18, if my math is right.
And you're going to keep going.
And, of course, as long as I can.
Do you have to go every month?
Oh, no, I go, as often as I can.
Yeah.
And as I said, this year I did 2 trips to Costa Rica, 2 trips to Africa, 2 trips to Canada. These are back-to-back trips.
Yeah.
And then I am now going to the Azores in a few weeks, and then I'll be home for a week, and then I'm going to Greenland and Labrador.
You're a good traveler.
And then the beginning of the year, I'm starting out in Patagonia. And then,
that's a show on TV now, Patagonia?
Yes, and then I'm going back to Africa again, but my son's going with me this time.
Oh, that'll be cool.
My daughter came with me this last time.
And over 50. You have one child.
2.
Both of them are over 50?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
She was an infant when she became a mother. My God, woman. So they're coming. Grandchildren staying at home? Or?
No grandchildren. However, I must say, Rhodes Scholar also has programs for grandparents and their grandchildren.
Oh, my God.
There's special programs set up just for that.
How do you do that? How do you get into
It's
that?
in the catalogs.
Look at this. Rhodes Scholar. Not only for people 50 plus, you can take a trip basically anywhere in the world. And now they've got another that Paula's sharing us with grandparents and their grandkids. You better have a good grandkid that travels well, because I would have not been one of those kids when I was a kid. If I'm driving more than an hour and a half, when are we going to get there? That's it, I've had it.
Oh, but they have ways of keeping them interested. And as I said, it's education-based.
Yeah.
So where else can kids get that kind of experience?
Yeah. Do you have little nieces and nephews?
Not close, no.
Yeah, I was going to say, who would qualify in your family?
In my family,
No.
no.
But you're going to have one or both of your children with you.
This next trip, it'll be my son. This last time, I went with my daughter.
And where are you going this time?
Africa again. I try to go to Africa every year.
Wow.
I love Africa.
You like Africa?
It is my absolutely favorite place in the world.
I'm trying to think what would be my favorite. I really don't know. I know my father's side of the family is Scottish and Welsh, so that would be Wales and Scotland.
Been
And
there.
Mom's side was French and German, so I could take in that end. I probably want to go, I don't know, probably, Italy looks interesting.
Italy is beautiful.
Yeah, I love The Godfather, so one more time, Paula, how do they get a hold of you or Rhodes Scholar?
Well, they can get a hold of Rhodes Scholar at www.rhodesscholar.org. And they can put their name in and their information, and they will start getting catalogs, and they'll start getting email information.
And you give presentations, right?
I do, usually to libraries, senior groups, to, I've done it to certain businesses that have asked me to come in and do it, but all different types of groups that request it.
So you're your own publicist, you know who to reach to and everything.
Yeah, and a lot of times they'll go through Rhodes Scholar, and Rhodes Scholar will contact me.
Very good. Before we close, she told me a beautiful thing. When your husband passed away, he wanted his ashes spread. You don't know where he is. There's no cemetery, right? Because
Right.
he's all over the world.
He is. His last words were, "Promise me you won't stop traveling." He didn't tell me to bring his ashes all over the world, but I knew he'd love it. And he has, because he kind of tells me where to leave them.
This is amazing. Paula, thank you for being with us. Thank you very much. We should have her back again maybe next fall or winter. That'd be good. Providing everybody is staying well, right?
Yes, absolutely. Here's hoping.
We were closed down from March 2020 to 2021 because of COVID.
Well, Rhodes Scholar had to also.
Yeah.
But the other thing is they started having online remote travel. In other words, it's real time,
Yeah.
but you can sign up for 2 or 3 day sessions,
Zoom-wise.
Zoom-wise, absolutely.
Yeah, I would say for that way.
And then they have our lectures as well
Yeah.
on different topics and places to go.
Quickly, what was your ancestry? Have you visited any of your ancestors?
Actually, I am primarily German, but I just found out I'm partially Welsh.
Oh my God, a couple things in common right there.
Yes.
Oh yeah, quite. That's quite different. You know, I know that my father's side migrated from Scotland, most likely, or maybe Wales, to Nova Scotia, which means New Scotland, and then they came down to Massachusetts. My grandmother's side, my mother's side, a little bit. They ended up, I think, in one of the days when Harlem, New York, was beautiful, way back then.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't what it is now, and I think they came in via New York. Not sure. It's tougher to get that ancestry than my father's because his father kept everything updated. Interesting. Welsh and German and Scottish. That's it, right? That's your...
You know, there's a few other little things thrown in there.
Tossed
but
in there for good
yes.
measure. I'm a mutt, you're a mutt, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for being with us, Paula.
Oh, I've enjoyed it. Thank
Me
you
too.
so much.
We'll see you next time and be my guest.
Riding on a shooting star, heading out toward a dream. Tomorrow's even closer than it seems.